Hello and welcome to the 7th episode in our beginner lessons series. So today we're going to be covering the most difficult concept in all of chess called the process. Now the reason this is difficult is it involves thinking about what your opponent is actually doing. And so to actually work out what your opponent is doing is reasonably tough, especially if they're playing some strange idea and they don't even know what they're doing. But you can sort of second guess this and get around it by looking at their moves and trying to understand what their moves do. So this is the whole basis of the process. So I'm going to jump into some games and we're going to go and have a look. So we'll create a game, 5 minutes with 10 seconds increment, and we'll play as either colour because that doesn't bother me. So I'm playing on an anonymous account now rather than playing on my own account for the simple reason that playing at the 2300 level is going to be very tough to explain and very tough for you to understand. So this at least should be a little bit easier. So I'll just cut back to when I actually get into a game. Okay, we are back in a game, so I'm going to play this move. Simple move, pawn up into the center, controlling these two squares, allowing the bishop out and allowing the queen out. My opponent has taken the center back, allowed his queen out and allowed his bishop out. So I now have to work out a move. I'm going to play knight out. What does this move do? Attacks the pawn, attacks the center. Cool. Helps me castle. Okay, opponent played a move. What does this move do? Defends the pawn, attacks the center. That's all. So now from here, I should look for more moves that control the center. I've got bishop out as an option, and I've got knight out as an option too. I'm going to play knight out, because this is the move I teach, to bring both knights out first, nice and safe. What does this move do? Defends the pawn, defends the center. A6. Now this is a very strange move. I've never seen it before in my life. So what does this move do? Protects this square. That's about it. It allows the rook to go forward, but I don't think he's going to do that. So I'm going to continue developing. Controls the center, controls this whole diagonal through here. And it helps me to castle. Bishop c5, what does this do? Attacks through here, controls the center, helps him to castle. I'm going to castle, so that simply my king is nice and safe, and this is a move we should try and do in all our games of chess. d6, what does this do? Defends the bishop, defends the pawn, lets the bishop out. Because it lets the bishop out, I'm going to stop this by playing pawn here to stop this. I also get my flight square at the end of the game. So he plays h6 as a response. This allows him to get the rook out, potentially, but I doubt it. But it stops bishop here is the key idea. So I'm going to play this move, d3, defending the bishop, defending the pawn, letting the bishop out. He plays knight to f6. Get a couple of options here. I'm going to play this move. So this move is another piece to the center. And I'm threatening straight up to take it and force his pawn to move away from the center. This is my annoying cat. We'll get rid of him. Goodbye, cat. So g5. What does this move do? He's trying to start an attack on me. But this is not a good idea when you have no development, for the simple reason that, well, no development means the attacks don't normally work. So I've got a couple of funny options here that I can play to deal with this. One of them is d4. If your opponent plays on the flank, you should normally consider playing in the center. And I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm actually just going to play d4. Because this is a reasonably tough move for him to meet, as he can't just continue on his merry way. So especially since I have better developed pieces, when I break in the center, my pieces become even more active. So he's run away. I'm going to take here. So the idea behind this is that for him to actually deal with this, he has to give up some of his attack, which is not so easy to do. He doesn't really want to play knight takes, because then I'll take it, and on pawn takes I'll be able to trade the queens, but he has chosen to do this. So I will take it, he will take back, and I will actually play this move. So the idea behind this move is that I don't give him a chance to double my pawns, and I'm going to force his rook to a really bad square. So rook takes, bringing my rook to the middle, He's played rook here, and quite simply I have a very nice and solid position where I'm ahead in development. So now we've reached a middle game, and I think it's actually fine to move the f-pawn here, just simply to defend this. This is a very safe and solid reason, so I'm going to play this. It's a nice, safe, solid setup. Okay, what do we think my opponent will do? He may try castling, which is a reasonably poor move. He may try king. But if you notice, I've got every single piece developed, and my opponent is still quite a way off developing any of these. And in fact, this is poorly placed too. So this is why when your opponent plays on the flank, you should play in the center. And quite simply, these pawns are now weak, and he's got no real attack to show for this. So he's actually just left the game for the simple reason that his position is that bad. So I'll get right into another game, and we will go over it from there. Okay, straight into another game. Going to take the center again, letting the bishop out, letting the queen out. He's done the same, taking the center, letting the bishop out, letting the queen out, knight out, attacking the pawn, attacking the center. d6 blocks the bishop in, lets this bishop out. Okay, what do? I'll develop the other knight, defend my pawn, attack the center. Bishop out, pinning the knight, so I can't move the knight because I'll lose the queen. So I'm going to play here. h3, this is a move I need to play when I castle anyway, so fair enough, and it attacked the bishop. So bishop takes f3. I can move the g-pawn, which we shouldn't do, or I can take with the queen. So I now have two pieces developed versus his none. Knight out, attacking, controlling the center. I'm going to play bishop out because I want to play d3 and I don't want to block it in. Also, this bishop controls through here and controls the center. My opponent, knight c6. Yep, my opponent would play this as I expected. He's trying to play here, putting the knight in the center, attacking the queen and attacking this pawn. So I need to find a way to sort of stop that threat. It's not really a true threat. I mean, I don't actually have to deal with it too quickly. I don't know. I could play d3 and ignore it. I could play castles and ignore it, or I could try and do my own things with things like knight d5. That's about it. There are some other options, but none of them are really that flash. So I'm actually going to play castles here. Get my king nice and safe. The idea behind not committing this pawn is I may want to try and get d4 in one go, but I obviously can't now. So knight here, what does this do? It attacks my queen, it attacks the pawn. Okay, good to know. So I should run the queen away to defend the pawn. Now he does probably have this move if he's clever, but it's a pretty complicated move. It is a pretty complicated move. So a6, what does this move do? It prepares to play b5 and attack the bishop. So I'm going to play this simple move, defending the bishop, defending the pawn, b5, attacking the bishop, like I said. So I saw this move coming a reasonable way out. So what do? Drop back, because I knew it was under attack. So b4, what does it do? It attacks the knight. So I can chuck the knight into the middle of the board, or I can play this funny check first. So I'm actually going to play this check, because if he has to move the king, it's very bad for him. And if he plays this move, I might have some tricky ideas with here, which is what I'm going to do, is put the knight in the middle of the board. It's a fair enough idea, putting a knight in the middle of the board. He can't take with the pawn because of the pin, and so I get to take this back. So he plays rook here defending this, and now I get to play maybe c3, attacking the knight, although I could try taking it as well. But I like c3, attack the knight. So his knight's in the middle of the board, and I'm going to force it to move. So he takes, I take, and he moves his knight here. This is closer to the rim, so this is not that flash of square. I might actually be able to take here. I'm going to take here. Maybe. I don't know. I think I am going to take here. So this move did attack the pawn, and here regains the pawn, but when I play this, this is a pin, And so everything is lined up. Knight here does attack the queen, does attack this, but I have what we call an in-between move, is that this is check. So he has to deal with the check first before he takes my queen. And this puts me at a whole rook up, and so my opponent has resigned. So get into another game, and hopefully by now you're starting to understand what the process actually is. It's about thinking what your opponent's move does, as well as what your own move does, and whether or not it will be beneficial to you. Okay, so let's try the queen pawn opening. So this was also covered in the lectures. So knight out, this is a move that I never covered. So what am I going to do? I'm going to continue on with my plan. But I should first actually run through the process. What does this move do? Attacks the center. Okay, attacks these squares too. So knight out, defending my pawn, defending the center, going to help me castle. Knight to the center, what does this do? Well, it attacks these squares, but it actually gives up control on the center. So what am I going to do? Develop, just keep developing. I have great control over the center now. I'm prepared to play e3 and defend this. So what does d6 do? d6 allows the bishop to come out, but it will block this bishop. It also controls the center and maybe is preparing to play here. So I'm going to continue developing, bringing my knight out. I could play e3 there, but I quite like this because he has to deal with it. Knight takes f2. Wow. He gets a pawn. He'll make me move my king, but I get $3. He gets 1. This has got to be good for me. Brings his bishop out, attacking my knight. Okay, I'm going to simply defend my center. So defend my center, just because if I can hold my center, then his moves don't do a lot. So he's played e6. What does this do? Maybe prepares to bring his queen out, but it does block his bishop getting back in. So I'm now going to play this move, taking the rest of the center. So even though my king is a little bit exposed, I have the center, so this is fine. So bishop e7, what's he doing? Probably threatening this check, and he's preparing to castle. This check is not the end of the world, so I'm just going to simply play bishop to d3, defending my center some more, and actually attacking him over here for when he castles. So this check is nothing major. I can play a couple of moves, but I like this one for a very, very sneaky reason. So let's see what he actually does. Oh, he did take it, so I'm going to take back with the pawn. So my king is nice and safe behind all of this. Very safe king, and now the rook is actually active and lined up at his king. So I think I'm very close to having some sacrifices that checkmate, but they don't quite work at the moment, which is a shame because some of them are pretty good sacrifices. I'm going to play this move. And this move actually, well, I have good development here, right? So this is why I'm fair to attack. And I think right now, this move was so strong when he takes, is that he's actually walked straight into checkmate. This is how good it is to have these pieces developed. Even though my king is a little unsafe here, my pieces are so developed that this is fine. So I'm going to play this move, check. I win a pawn, forcing his king to go here into the open file. So now I can put this bishop anywhere on the board that it can actually get to, and he'll be in check. So I'm going to put it here. Well, I could put it anywhere. Actually, I think of here. This is the first move I spot, but it actually doesn't need to be here. It could be anywhere. But this is the move I'm going to play for a very good reason. It's check. Then I can play this move. Check. So he has to now take it, and I can play queen h1. Check. He will move his king here, and I will play queen here, checkmate. Very strong attack, all because he actually let me open the file at his king. So bishop in the way, well, I'll take that, it's still check, that didn't change anything. Queen in the way, I'll take that, that's still check, didn't change anything. King over, and now checkmate. So I hope you've enjoyed this lesson, and I hope you've learned a lot about the process. I would definitely recommend rewatching this until you understand it perfectly. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next episode. Goodbye.